What if I told you that Amish gardens produce 10 times more food per square foot than modern gardens? That traditional methods multiply yields through techniques most gardeners ignore completely? Proven productivity multipliers refined over 300 years create extraordinary abundance from small spaces. Today, I'll show you exactly how they do it. Intensive soil building. Amish gardens receive 6 to 12 inches of organic matter annually versus modern 2 inches, creating dramatically different fertility levels. Annual additions compound yearly, building soil depth and richness continuously. Aged manure applications measure in tons, not bags, providing massive nutrient inputs. Cover crops grow year-round, adding biomass even during winter dormancy. No synthetic shortcuts replace long-term soil building through organic matter accumulation. Soil testing and amendments address specific deficiencies precisely. Microbe feeding takes priority over direct plant feeding following the feed the soil, not the plant principle. The results show soil holding 2 to 3 times more nutrients and water than conventionally managed gardens, supporting far higher plant density. Intensive spacing. Square foot spacing versus wide modern rows doubles plants per area immediately without crowding. Plant space by mature size, not seedling size, allowing proper development while maximizing density. Leaves should touch at maturity, creating beneficial microclimate reducing water loss. Example shows lettuce planted 6 inches apart versus modern 12 inches, doubling production same bed. This spacing method increases plants per area 2 to 3 times compared to traditional row spacing. Self-mulching canopy created by touching leaves reduces weeds by shading soil completely. Moisture retention improves through shade, preventing rapid evaporation. Result delivers 2 to 3 times more plants in identical space, producing proportionally more harvest. Continuous planting. New crops plant every 1 to 2 weeks in the same space, ensuring never empty beds at any time during season. Cool season crops transition to warm season crops, then back to cool, creating 3 to 4 harvests yearly. Example shows lettuce planted early spring, then beans planted after lettuce harvest, then lettuce again in fall same bed. This succession produces 3 to 4 crops per space versus modern single crop approaches wasting productive time. Staggered harvest prevents overwhelming gluts and waste, allowing manageable continuous production. Year-round production planning maps every bed succession schedule winter planning session. The result achieves 3 to 4 times more total harvest from the same garden area through intelligent timing. Vertical growing. Trellising everything possible, including cucumbers, beans, peas, and tomatoes, reclaims valuable ground space for additional low-growing crops. Vertical growing allows planting lettuce, carrots, or herbs beneath trellised crops, using previously wasted space. Air circulation around vertical plants prevents fungal diseases, reducing crop loss significantly. Easier harvest and maintenance reduces labor while improving yields through better plant health. Example shows 20 cucumbers grown vertically versus 5 from same plant sprawling on ground, consuming 10 times more space. Pole beans produce 3 times more than bush beans over extended seasons. The result generates 2 to 3 times more production per square foot through three-dimensional space utilization. Season extension. Cold frames and row covers protect crops, extending season 2 to 4 months beyond normal outdoor growing period. Succession planting continues into fall and winter using hardy varieties under protection. Early spring starts 4 to 6 weeks before last frost with cold hardy crops. Southern exposure beds receive maximum sunlight, warming soil faster, enabling earlier planting. Heavy mulching, moderate soil temperature, preventing freezing in marginal conditions. Winter hardy crop selection includes spinach, kale, carrots, and lettuce, surviving cold with minimal protection. Modern gardens operate 4 to 5 months, while Amish gardens produce 8 to 10 months yearly. The result doubles the productive growing period, generating twice the annual harvest from season extension alone. Multiplication system. Never planting single species beds creates synergistic relationships, multiplying yields beyond individual crop potential. Three Sisters combination demonstrates actual yield multiplication through companion planting. Corn planted alone produces 100 pounds per 100 square feet baseline. Corn combined with beans and squash in traditional Three Sisters method produces 300 pounds per 100 square feet same area. This 3 times yield increase comes from complementary growing patterns and nutrient sharing among species. Nutrient sharing mechanisms show beans fixing atmospheric nitrogen benefiting corn with 25% yield boost. Squash leaves shade soil surface, conserving moisture, reducing water stress for all three crops. Deep corn roots and shallow squash roots access different soil zones, eliminating competition for nutrients and water. Each plant occupies different ecological niche within same space. Height layering captures sunlight efficiently with tall corn occupying top zone, medium beans at middle height, and low squash covering ground level. Each layer produces maximum harvest without shading competition because vertical spacing separates them. Modern single crop beds waste vertical growing space using only ground level. Pest reduction benefits show mixed species confusing specialist pests by 40 to 60% reducing crop damage. Pests locate host plants through visual and scent cues with monoculture providing clear target. Companion planting masks these signals, making pest location difficult. Trap crops planted strategically draw pests away from main production crops. Proven Amish combinations documented over generations include tomato with basil and marigold, producing 30% more tomatoes. Carrots with onions show 80% less carrot fly damage through scent confusion. Cabbage with dill and chamomile produces healthier, larger heads with fewer pest issues. Space efficiency calculation shows modern gardens growing 1 crop per bed while companion planting grows 3 to 4 crops. Same bed. Actual yield reaches 150 to 200% of single crop yield, not just 100% from doubled plants. Synergy between plants creates yields exceeding simple addition. Implementation strategy maps companion groups during winter planting session. Plant main crop first, then interplant companions at appropriate spacing. A harvest occurs in waves as each crop reaches maturity at different times, extending productive period. The intensive bed system. Double digging breaks hard pan 18 to 24 inches deep, allowing roots to access deep nutrients and water unavailable in shallow tilled soil. Deep root penetration enables drought tolerance and nutrient access, multiplying yields dramatically. Drainage improves preventing waterlogging and root rot in heavy soils. Aeration supports beneficial soil biology, including earthworms and fungi, essential for fertility. Labor investment requires 4 to 6 hours per 100 square feet initially, but yield increases 3 to 5 times first year. This intensive bed preparation lasts 10 plus years with minimal maintenance, making one-time investment pay dividends for decade. Return on labor investment proves extraordinary compared to annual tilling producing marginal improvements. Double dig method. Amish style removes top 12 inches of soil setting aside carefully. Loosen bottom 12 inches with broad fork or spading fork without mixing layers. Add 4 to 6 inches of aged manure to loosened bottom layer. Replace topsoil mixing in additional compost, creating 18 to 24 inch deep fertile zone. This creates ideal root environment, supporting intensive planting impossible in shallow beds. Permanent raised bed advantages include never walking on soil, eliminating compaction completely. Soil warms 2 weeks faster in spring, extending growing season at both ends. Drainage proves superior in wet climates, preventing spring planting delays. Easier access for planting, weeding, and harvesting reduces labor and physical strain. Intensive planting in deep beds allows roots growing down, not out, permitting closer spacing safely. Plants access deep moisture and nutrients, supporting dense planting without stress. Example shows carrots planted 2 inches apart versus modern 4 inches, doubling production. Deep beds support this intensive spacing, where shallow beds would cause competition and stunting. Water efficiency in deep beds holds moisture 2 to 3 times longer, reducing watering frequency significantly. Deep watering encourages deep root development, creating drought-resistant plants. Mulch layer on top prevents evaporation, maximizing water efficiency. Combined effect reduces water needs 40 to 60% while supporting higher plant density. Yield comparison documented shows modern tilled gardens producing 0.5 to 1 pound per square foot annually. Amish double-dug permanent beds produce 3 to 5 pounds per square foot annually. This 3 to 5 times multiplication proves repeatable across different climates and crops with proper management. The manure and composting system. Scale difference between modern and Amish operations explains productivity gap clearly. Modern gardeners apply 1 to 2 bags of compost per bed annually, totaling maybe 50 pounds organic matter. Amish gardens receive 500 to 1,000 pounds aged manure per bed, creating 100 times more organic matter input. This massive difference compounds yearly, building extraordinary soil fertility over decades. Horse manure availability from 2 horses produces 18 tons manure annually, providing endless fertility. Local stables often provide free manure with bedding included, creating ideal carbon to nitrogen ratio. Aged 6 to 12 months before garden application ensures weed seed destruction and nutrient stability. Mixed bedding provides carbon balancing nitrogen-rich manure perfectly for composting. A composting operation scale uses 3-bin system, producing continuous finished compost year-round. Bin 1 receives fresh manure and bedding additions daily or weekly. Bin 2 holds actively composting material turned weekly for aeration. Bin 3 contains finished aged compost ready for immediate garden application. This system produces cubic yards of compost, not bags, eliminating all purchase costs. Application rates reach 4 to 6 inches of aged manure annually across entire garden area. Surface application or light incorporation provides nutrients without disturbing soil structure. Continuous heavy applications build new topsoil at 1 to 2 inches yearly rate. 10 years of this practice creates 10 inches of new nutrient-rich topsoil, transforming even poor land. Nutrient comparison shows aged horse manure containing approximately 0.70.30.6 NPK analysis. 1,000 pounds provides 7 pounds nitrogen, 3 pounds phosphorus, and 6 pounds potassium. Additional micronutrients and beneficial biology provide unmeasured value. Synthetic fertilizer equivalent costs $50 to $100, making free manure extraordinarily valuable. Free fertility model shows animals producing manure daily as natural byproduct, requiring only collection. Composting labor remains minimal with simple turning and occasional watering. Application represents only real labor cost using wheelbarrow and shovel. This system eliminates all fertilizer purchases, saving hundreds annually while producing superior results. Modern comparison shows bagged compost costing $5 to $8 per cubic foot, and beds require 10-plus bags, each totaling $50 to $80 per bed annually. Amish approach provides tons free from animal keeping. Cost difference over 10 years reaches thousands of dollars while producing far superior soil quality and yields. The seed-saving system. Saved seeds outperform hybrid varieties through adaptation to specific soil, climate, and growing conditions over multiple generations. First year shows baseline performance from commercial seed. 3 to 5 years of selection shows noticeable adaptation to local conditions. 10 plus years creates land race varieties perfectly suited to microclimate producing maximum yields. Modern hybrids prove generic performing adequately everywhere but excellently nowhere. Selection process increases yields by saving seed only from best performing plants each season. Largest fruits, most disease-resistant plants, and earliest or latest producers depending on goals. This selective pressure improves performance 5 to 10% yearly compounding dramatically. So 10 years of selection produces 50 to 100% better adapted varieties than original commercial seed. Example, tomato seed saving demonstrates adaptation clearly over time. Year 1 establishes baseline using commercial variety producing adequately. Year 3 shows noticeable adaptation with plants thriving in specific conditions. Year 5 produces 20 to 30% more fruit from same care and inputs. Year 10 doubles original yield through accumulated genetic improvements. Same growing practices produce vastly different results from adapted genetics. Cost savings remain significant over decades of gardening. Modern approach purchases $3 to $5 seed packets yearly for each crop. Saved seed costs zero after initial purchase or variety acquisition. 10 crops at $4 average saves $40 annually. A decade totals $400 plus savings while simultaneously improving performance yearly. Disease resistance builds naturally through selection pressure, removing susceptible plants from breeding population. Survivors reproduce passing resistant traits to offspring. Eventually, highly disease-resistant varieties emerge, reducing crop loss dramatically. Less disease means more harvest from same space and effort. Climate adaptation improves steadily with heat tolerance, cold hardiness, and drought resistance, strengthening through selection. Local pest resistance develops as plants evolving alongside pest populations. Varieties thrive in specific microclimate conditions, becoming increasingly productive yearly. Multi-generational Amish families maintain century-old varieties perfectly adapted, producing extraordinary yields reliably. 10 times yield multiplication proves achievable through integrated traditional techniques working synergistically together. Not one magic trick, but complete system approach combining soil building, intensive spacing, succession planting, vertical growing, season extension, companion planting, deep beds, heavy composting, seed saving, and perennial integration. Soil building provides foundation requiring years to develop fully but supporting all other techniques. Intensive spacing doubles plants per area immediately while succession planting triples crops per space annually. Vertical growing reclaims ground space and season extension doubles productive months yearly. Companion planting adds 50 to 200% yield through synergy while deep beds enable intensive planting supporting high density. Heavy manure and composting applications create fertility impossible with bag amendments. Seed saving adapts varieties over generations, and perennials eliminate annual replanting labor. Modern shortcuts sacrifice long-term productivity for short-term convenience. Amish long-term thinking compounds benefits over decades, creating extraordinary abundance. Start implementing 2 to 3 techniques, immediately adding more gradually as skills develop. Each productivity multiplier stacks with others, creating exponential, not linear improvements. 10-year gardens produce vastly more than first-year gardens through accumulated improvements. Begin soil building today, ensuring future abundance for decades ahead.